All right, I am sorry. Oh, my face. If I have stuff in my teeth, I am so tired. I didn't really film at all. I got a couple clips before the event started, and I think that's pretty much it. It was so busy. This is definitely the best that I've done at any event, and I like had people at my booth almost nonstop. Normally, I'm able to like sit and sketch in a sketchbook, and I brought stuff with me, and I just like wasn't able to because the most I had between people at my booth was like a minute or two. Not necessarily a purchase every minute or two, but like someone coming up and talking to me or whatever. So it was crazy. It was crazy busy. It was really good, but I'm exhausted. I always like kind of get anxiety the night before and I have a hard time sleeping. And now I'm so exhausted with all the people interaction. So I'm just gonna like pass out and do it again tomorrow. Um, I will update you tomorrow. If it's another crazy day, I'll probably just pass out again and end this video on Monday, but I'm hoping to take some time to actually walk around and look at all the booths because I didn't even do that. It was hard to even like get out of the booth to use the bathroom. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Okay, I've had dinner. I'm still super tired, so I'll be crashing soon, but I ran out of change. Like I have 0 pennies and like maybe a quarter and hardly any dimes left. Thankfully, Thomas has his whole sack of change, so I'm gonna go through this and exchange his change for bills so that I can actually accept cash payments tomorrow. Because like without quarters and pennies, it's a little tricky. For reference, this is the state of my cash box. Like literally 1 quarter, 3 dimes, and 1 penny. I think these dimes might have actually been down here. Both of these were pennies. It got moved around in the car. And then I have my 1s, 5s, and 10s. And then 20s I'd always throw underneath. And then some of these ones, because people like crinkle them in their pocket and stuff, they just get super bulky when you put them in here, and it like scares me. They're just gonna fly out when I open it. So every so often I just throw a chunk of ones in here. But yeah, I'm just gonna go through and exchange as much of this as possible for dollar bills. So really thankful he has all this extra cash because it's a weekend, which means banks aren't open. All right, I think I'm ready for day 2, just sitting on my bed. We'll leave soon. I ended up going to bed at like 9:30 last night, and I set my alarm for 7 because I was like, well, I don't technically need to have my car through the area until like 9:30. So I was like, well, we don't have to leave early, right? My body naturally woke me up at 6, which is fine. I still got a lot of sleep. So hopefully I won't be as tired today as I was yesterday, but we do have to like take everything down, which is sad. We sold out of several different types of stickers. I sold all my tote bags. I sold all of the shaker switch charm that I had, sold several lanyards, and I sold out of basically all of my Pokemon buttons. So I am gonna take my button press actually with me to the event, and then this morning as we're setting up, I'm going to make more of those buttons because I had already printed extra sheets of the paper, so I just need to like cut them out, punch them out, and then like make the actual buttons because they sold so well yesterday that I don't want to have empty inventory if possible, because like the thing with events is maybe somebody would have bought those things and I could have made more money, but it was sold out, so then I couldn't. And some of those things, like the stickers, were stickers that I kind of wanted to phase out anyway, so it works that they sold out. And some of them I'll probably print more, but I just like don't have the time for it. And this is my first time doing this event, so I just like didn't know what to expect. And honestly, it was going really well. I got a lot of traffic, got a lot of sales, which is nice. Definitely better than I was expecting. I set a like monetary goal for myself where I said like over this weekend I would like to make X amount of dollars in sales, and I made more than that in the first day. So that was pretty nice. I actually, I think I made enough money to pay off my booth in the first like 2 or 3 hours. But keep in mind, I did buy a lot of display pieces for this, and I did have to buy like inventory and stuff. So I kind of want to see how that balances out. I think at this point I've probably paid basically everything that I've bought, I think, which is nice because that means going forward it's profit, right? But like these display pieces, if you think about it, it's not just for this one event. I'm gonna be using it for the next one and the next one and the next one. So it's like a long-term investment, but it's always nice to make your money back. Anyway, I'm going to head out. I ate half a maple donut this morning and definitely getting coffee on the way there. to sip. It is cold and I'm wearing a short sleeve shirt, but it's supposed to get up to almost 70 today. And it was getting hot yesterday. I need to pack sunscreen. My arms were like sitting in the sun and I thought I was going to get a sunburn, but I think I just got enough sun to turn my arms a little bit pink and woke up this morning and it was fine. So, but yeah, it wasn't as hot yesterday. So I should probably grab a sunscreen just to be sure that I don't accidentally burn myself. Anyway, I'll talk to you later. I also sold a lot of prints. So I'm bringing some of this backing that I was using and some of the plastic sleeves so that I can package some more up. I sold a lot of the large ones, which is surprising to me because they're more expensive than the small ones, but you know, it is what it is. So I'm gonna hopefully pack up a few more of those while we're sitting and waiting for the event to start. Finally getting a chance to walk around, trying to do it this morning while I can, because it's not so busy yet. So if I want to buy something, it's a little easier, and I'm not leaving my booth with Thomas in the middle of a huge rush. Hi friends, sorry, I'm trying to like get myself in frame. I just wanted to end this vlog, and I'm sorry that I didn't really, I just realized the book that I need is underneath you guys. I just wanted to say sorry for not filming a whole lot. I had the idea of filming like my setup and stuff and maybe like doodling, but it ended up being such a busy event that I honestly didn't really have a lot of time to doodle. And I do recommend, like, when you have events like this, always bring a sketchbook and some stuff to sketch with, because you never know, like, it could be ridiculously busy, or you could have like a slow half hour, hour, whatever, and it's nice to have something to do. I ended up in between people attempting to eat because I didn't have a long enough break to like sit down and eat a meal, so I was just trying to like eat between people, and then I started running out of buttons. So the second day I brought my button press. So before the second day even started, I pressed a bunch of buttons because my Pokemon ones had run out, and then day 2, by the end of the day, some of my Demon Slayer ones had also sold out, but I forgot to bring sheets of the Demon Slayer printout so I could make buttons, so it was what it was. But the Pokemon ones continued to sell really well, so I was pressing buttons between customers the second half of that day. So I just like wasn't filming because I was just busy, right? I think this event just was so much better than other ones that I've done, like monetarily, I guess. And I think a lot of it comes down to knowing your target audience and finding them. I feel like this really was my target audience. Typically it's people like me in the sciences and that like cutesy things, and typically people like around my age or younger. And I think because I was next to UW, I was getting a lot of college students, especially the first day, and a lot of them were in the sciences or studying for a science degree. And then I had people that like gaming, or I mean the drink water stuff is like, that's pretty generic, but it has a certain vibe. And I think redoing my display was a really good idea, because using those little crates that I have that were colorful, I think really just like gave my booth a vibe, or a better vibe. I don't know how to describe it, but sometimes you go to booths and it's like almost sterile because it's all white, there's no character to it, but I think having the different colors really helped just enhance the look of it. And then the way that I displayed products I think was better. In the past I've had prints like pinned up on a board, but this time I had them in like plastic with chipboard behind them so that people could flip through them, and I think that helped sell the prints because people could hold them, and I think it makes the prints feel, I don't want to say more expensive, but just like feel higher quality and feel better, even though it's literally the same thing. Because they're packaged in that way, it makes them feel higher quality, at least in my opinion. And I did notice I sold more prints than I have at other events, but there was also a lot of foot traffic at this event, which I haven't necessarily seen in other events, so I will definitely be doing this one again. I don't want to go too much in detail because I know everyone doesn't necessarily care, but I go through my sales report through Square in a lot of detail just to see like what products did well and to know what I should be focusing on from a business standpoint. Obviously, some things I'm going to do simply because I want to do them and because they're fun and it's like for myself. But there is a part of this where it is a business and I would like to make money at events. So I try to pay attention to like what things sold out or sold really well. So obviously like the buttons did super well. And I think again, part of that is the location. So if this was like a fine art event, I don't think the buttons would have done very well. But because it's a street fair, I think it did. And I think it also helped that my booth was unique. There was only one other vendor selling stickers or anything like mine. I didn't see any other vendors selling buttons or lanyards. There were a few selling art prints, but they were more like fine art versus like more cute digital art style. So I think stylistically my stuff really stood apart from all the other booths, which helps. My next event is SummerCon, which means there's probably going to be a lot of people selling buttons, lanyards, stickers, those kinds of things. So it's going to be more competition, so I'm curious to see how I do that in that event. I also don't think there will be as much foot traffic, but I'm also paying like a little less than half of what I did for this event. And on their website they said they'd have about 50,000 people, or they usually attract about 50,000 people. So to some extent you can take that foot traffic number if the event has it, and kind of calculate what you might sell. It's really hard to do with small events because you really just don't know the foot traffic, but when you have that many booths, you have to assume that maybe 1% of the people will buy something. 1 to 2% I think is a fair estimate. I normally go on the lower end because I would rather expect to make less money and then make more and be surprised, and that's definitely what happened this time around. The cost of my booth was covered in the first like 2.5 hours, which I have never done before. And I don't want to brag because I've done like, I don't know, 5 events or something before this, and I have definitely had events where I struggled to meet the booth, and I won't be doing those events again. I just don't think it pulled in enough foot traffic, and I don't think it was necessarily my target audience. But this event, I think just went really well. But back to what I was saying, you can kind of calculate your sales. So if you know what your average sale is, so let's say like you have $5 per transaction is like your average, and then you have 50,000 people, assume you're gonna get 1%, that's 500 transactions times 5. I usually take like my lowest cost item and do that as like a low bar. So take like my stickers, which are like $250, right? And you can do the math, and it might give you a ballpark area, but you're not guaranteed those sales, right? So, number wise, I ended up making about 4.8 times the amount that it cost for the booth. And like I said, this is the first time that's ever happened. The last event that I did was a Christmas one, and I made just barely over the booth cost. And SummerCon last year, I think I basically made the cost. I am doing SummerCon again this year simply because last year it was kind of like a last minute event. It was, I think, the third event of the summer, so there was a lot less people. And this year I'm doing the main event, so it should have a lot more foot traffic, and they said that it's their biggest show this year, so I'm giving them one more chance and we'll see how I do. If it's the same situation again, I might just not do that event again. And then I had a Christmas one that I did before that, which I did relatively well, not this well, but I did okay. And then my first event ever, I had a reasonable profit. I think I made like 2 times the booth cost. But I just want to say that your first few events is really trial and error. You have to figure out your displays, you have to figure out what people like, figure out who your audience is. And this time around, I had a lot of the same products, but then I had some new products. My new products did well, but I have some products that I've had for forever that either sold out or just sold so much better at this event than other events, and it really just comes down to who was attending that event, which is kind of sad because you just have to find your people, and that's easier said than done. So I'm going to go through some numbers just to like give you a ballpark idea of what happened. I sold 3 ornaments. which I actually wasn't expecting to sell any, but I brought them because I figured, why not? Just like put them on the table, and if someone wants it, then cool. And I sold 3, so that's nice. I sold 16 small prints, 16 large prints, 3 originals, and for the originals, I just bring small little pieces that are like small watercolor doodles and things like that. I charge like $10 because they're usually things that I didn't take very long on, and people really like original artwork, but a lot of original artwork is super expensive, so when you bring really small things that you didn't spend a lot of time on, it allows people to buy those items for a cheap price but feel like they're getting something really valuable. I sold 65 magnets. I sold 1 dirty pour. It was a small one. I've never sold larger ones, but at events like this I'm more likely to sell it than at like SummerCon. I sold 37 lanyards, 11 washi tapes. I didn't start with very many though. 12 keychains, which sold out, and then 5 shaker keychains, again sold out. And 297 stickers, and then buttons. Where are my buttons? I sold 351 buttons, and I maybe could have sold more if I hadn't run out of the Demon Slayer ones that day. Yeah, I will have a video coming up probably in the next month or 2 about how I find events and applying to events and succeeding at events. I feel like I finally had an event where I like really succeeded, not just sort of did well. So I'm looking forward to putting that video up. I so far have not been turned down from an event through like an application. Every event I've applied to, I've gotten in. This was the one event that I was like certain I wasn't going to get into, and I did well. So if you would like my advice on that, let me know. If you have any questions, definitely leave those in the comments, and I will try to answer those in that video. Yeah, that's it. I'm sorry I've been talking for so long. I just went through and like did all my analytics and stuff, and it's just crazy to me. But yeah, I am sad this one's over because it was so fun, but at the same time I'm glad because I get to relax. I did take today off work because I knew I was going to need a day of rest, especially with it being that busy. I'm really glad I did because as an introvert, having to talk to people all day is exhausting. Now, less than a month away is SummerCon, so I need to start prepping for that. I already put an order in for more keychains and washi tape, and I hope I get them in time. I don't know that I will because it normally takes at least a month, if not a little over a month to get it. But worst case scenario, those things will be going up on my Etsy shop after SummerCon. So if you would like those items, definitely stay tuned. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!